Yeah, everybody's like the baby's in college now. Can you imagine? Baby. Look at you. Wow. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Wow. So this is really special. Oh, poor you.
Thank you.
Poor you. It's all over but the crying. With the growth of my career and the growth in my confidence and the growth in my feeling of independence, you know, I felt brave enough and strong enough to confront my ex-husband and say, and I would say to him, I'm not happy here. I'm not happy at home. So you have to make the arroz con gandules. The pigeon peas, I think they have them here in frozen. And you get the smoked pork neck bones here too. And it's, oh my God, it's the perfect accompaniment for the banh mi.
Yeah, but I just had the pigeon peas and rice for over Sunday and Monday.
Oh, okay.
What else could I make?
Oh my God, you could make tostones, the spice fried plantains, or you could make a nice mofongo, like a plantain with garlic and chicharron. Or you can make rice and beans. Red beans and white rice would be delicious. Mofongo's mother's milk.
I know, but I can't believe that. Just this morning, I said, I want to make a pernil. Now, what cookbook should I look for? Daisy!
I woke up one morning and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I said, I can't do this one more day. And so I got my kids together and I told them. And then I knew there was no going back.
What are you cooking?
I'm making some spice-scented country-style pork ribs that Mike just butchered for me off the shoulder end of the loin. So I'm gonna go home and season them with salt, black pepper, some cinnamon, some cloves, some allspice. Braise them in red wine and tomatoes and onions and garlic. Hello. All right, so we have these beautiful country-style boneless pork ribs that Mike so generously broke down for me at the butcher, and we're really going to be generous with the salt. We really want to season these well. He said, well, "What can I do?" Which was like it was too little, too late, because by that time I was already gone, you know. And I said, "Help me get through this with as little impact on the kids as possible." That was my focus. And he didn't do that. And what we're going to be doing with these ribs, I want to brown them, get them nice and caramelized up on top, really brown, and then we're going to set them aside to rest. And then while that's going on, we're going to start building our flavors by caramelizing the onions, sauteing the garlic, adding the aromatics, and really making those bloom. And so now this is ready. I'm going to hit this in a nice Dutch oven, work the crust on the bottom, the souks, so that, again, that's another flavor component for our finished dish. And this is really the kind of dish that you want to prepare when you want your whole house to smell like it's your birthday. The absolute bottom for me was when my daughter moved out with her father. I remember going into my closet, which is strange because I was in the house by myself, but I went into my closet and I bit on a towel, and that to me was lost. So we want a nice sear on that. And if you have to do this in batches, that's okay, because you don't want to overcrowd the pan. And then what happens is the meat doesn't sear. It actually almost boils. And you want to get that nice crust on the bottom. Okay, so you see these beautiful caramelized onions, and you could even go deeper than this if you want. It only adds sweetness, but I don't want them to get away from me, so I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic now. And the reason why I didn't add the garlic with the onions is that garlic burns very easily, and that you would have a bitter foundation for this dish, which really is all about the sweetness. And then we're going to start adding our aromatics. I have a tablespoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of ground cloves, and a teaspoon of allspice. Zippity-doo-dah. It's smelling like something up in here now. Woo! And then I want some black pepper in there. Woo! That smells good. And now I'm going to go ahead and add about a cup of red wine. Any medium to full-bodied red wine is good. Woo! I'm going to add some bay leaf. And we do this fairly quickly and over high heat. You can see that's starting to reduce already. And then I'm going to add 2 cans of tomatoes. And these tomatoes are especially wonderful. They're organic and they're fire roasted. So you have yet another level of flavor in there. At the beginning of this year, or the end of last year, I found myself in a place where I had to redefine myself or lose myself. And what I said was, I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I want to make my own joy. And I want to find joy wherever I can. And that's when I found out who my friends really were. And who my family really was. Alright, so I have 3 cups of chicken broth here with a sprig of thyme that's been simmering. And to that I'm going to add 3 cups of half and half. Could you use milk? Yes, but I mean this is such a decadent mouthfeel thing that I would just prefer. I'm going to that 6 cups, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of the polenta. And what we want to do with that is just keep stirring. Whoops. The thyme tried to make a run for it. Okay, and we just want to keep stirring this to avoid any clumps forming on the bottom of the pan. For this recipe, you'd want to use a pan with a heavy bottom because you don't want to scorch, and you want to do it on medium-high heat because you really don't want to. If this gets a burnt taste in it, you have to start from scratch. There's no coming back from that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some butter. And notice I haven't salted this yet because we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. And we also used the chicken broth, which had some salt in it. So I want to be able to control the amount of, look how beautiful that is. Oof. I want to be able to control the amount of salt. We'll add the cheese. And I would say that's about a half a cup of Parmesan. But again, you know, you can do this to taste. And that is about as tight as I like it. It needs a little salt. And a little pepper. mean, I'm the girl who gives up a prayer of thanks if I find a parking spot, which works really well for me because I get rock star parking all the time. I just pull up, you know, and there's my spot. I still find joy in the kitchen. It's how I say I love you. It's how I say I'm sorry. It's how I say I care. And remember, there's no tears in the kitchen because it's all shit in 24 hours. So you have to find joy. It has to be a happy place because it's where love starts.